fake royalty, Harry announced, giving his children the title of making fun of everyone. Harry and Meghan's insistence on distancing themselves from the royal family is nothing short of a paradox, dripping with hypocrisy. They proclaim a desire for privacy and independence, yet shamelessly capitalize on Harry's royal title to market everything from Sussex royal brand jelly to lavish lifestyle ventures. This glaring contradiction begs the question, why do they cling to the very titles they claim to renounce? The answer may lie in a complex web of ambition, opportunism, and a relentless pursuit of the spotlight, revealing a duo more interested in exploiting their royal connections than truly breaking free from the institution they so publicly scorn. My speculations are that they did not want to observe the protocols that surround the actions of the royal family, the working ones. Meghan was brought up in a very commercially orientated environment, where lawyers are used to fight any perceived infringement of a product brand. This is not present or as bad in the UK, so she thought she could commercialize her title and set up lines of merchandise building on the reputation of the royal family and her royal title. I do not think that Harry had got as far as thinking of the commercial aspects of them not being covered by his father giving him an allowance. When they proposed the half-in, half-out approach, they were maximizing their commercial exposure, attending high-profile public events, to get their names in the public's attention, which would then feed through into free publicity for their endeavors. So that approach would see them in the media focus with no effort on their part, yet commercializing any private-ish events they wanted to control. The first setback was when their idea was rejected. The second was the request to not use their His Royal Highness styles for commercial endeavors. The third was the drying up of invitations, priority seating to the public events that the other members of their family attended regularly. Harry still thought that he was a central member of the family, with them being unable to operate without his input. As their plans unravel with the institution of the monarchy removing their cover from the Sussex, I think that Harry starts to realize that it was the reputation of his family that had been responsible for opening the doors in his life. Now he has to put the work in to gain access. Only by using his links with his family was he able to get the status he needed to push his plans. I think Meghan had a slightly different agenda. She thought that she could copycat the royal brand using the reputation of the royals with the inbuilt publicity that follows them to gain the prominence she wanted, without having to put in any effort. She still employs the cash of being a duchess to gain the publicity she needs to carry out her plans. In the UK, the Sussexes are minor royals in a country that is the home of the most famous royal family. They are always in the shadow of the monarch and the heir. In the USA, they have novelty value, and there are people who are more easily influenced by their titles and Harry's closeness to the British monarch. If one analyses their endeavors since striking out on their own, they have only gained notoriety when disparaging the royal family. Their activities that they have tried that do not involve the royal family have not been commercially successful. Meghan's Pearl and the Bench not gaining critical acclaim. Her other ventures into the entertainment industry have not yet hit the success level they had hoped. Harry's book, podcasts, and other exploits rely heavily on his remembrances of his interactions with his family. For him, that is what sells the product he is peddling. I believe both Harry and Meghan are spoiled. They believe because they have a title that they are to be worshipped and give whatever they want without working or paying their dues. Meghan wants to be a domestic goddess with her American Riviera or hard, except that she doesn't grow the strawberry or raspberries, she doesn't make the jam, and she doesn't make the dog biscuit. Martha Stewart put in her time to become what she has worked for her entire life. Meghan just expects you to buy it because she says so. Harry doesn't know what working for a living even means. Besides, in fact, they have nothing to make money on, as neither has a profession. Harry has no university education and no skills. Meghan claims to have a degree but is too general to be useful in getting a job. She was a supporting role player in a TV daytime BBC soap, but never managed to get past interviews for any Hollywood movie. As a 46-year-old matron with very limited abilities, she's not able to compete with younger hopefuls. They depend on attacking the British royal family on Netflix, acting as themselves. On the other hand, Meghan never wanted to be out of the public eye. That is her lifeblood. What she didn't want was all the strictures that come from being a senior royal. She didn't want to be told where to go, when to curtsy, do boring walkabouts, etc. She wanted all the perks but none of the duties that supported those perks. She wanted the status but not the hard work. She wanted all the publicity but not the work. Meghan thought the royal title would make her by Hollywood standards, that people would want to be associated with her because of her title. She found out very quickly that having the title did not and still does not make up for her lack of talent or her narcissistic personality flaws. She is trying desperately to stay relevant by putting out PR releases every day. She is finding that people are losing interest rapidly because she is no longer associated with the British royal family, simply because those titles and the trashing of the royal family are all they have to make money from. Meghan is at best a D-list actress who really only had one meaningful acting job in her uneventful career in a cable show barely known in the US and unheard of here in the UK. Bunker Harry is only known because he is the youngest son of King Charles III. He has no real qualifications, and was and still is a liability to the military for gobbling off about things other real soldiers know not to talk about. They chose to use the prince and princess titles for their children to monetize and merch them. I can see no other reason to use those titles whilst living in a republic where they have no meaning. When Harry and Meghan made the announcement that they were going to call their children Prince and Princess, the royal family was utterly taken aback by the news. That completely took the monarchs by surprise and caught them off guard. The process of updating the website took them a full day. It is highly likely that they were receiving a phone call from California in which they informed Harry and Meghan that it is highly likely that they will not be able to maintain their titles. For your children, you don't really require them at all. Your children are not going to play any part in this monarchy in any way, shape, or form. On the other hand, Harry and Meghan responded with a flat-out no. In other words, the monarchy simply said, okay, and by the way, there are a lot of things, such as the reality TV show, the book, and just a lot of other things, that the monarchy is always caught completely off guard by. Furthermore, I believe that this is making Charles appear to be more and more feeble. Indeed, the identities of the supposed racist members of the royal family were included in an alternate version of the book that was never intended to be published, but it did. This is something that could be considered an almost divine intervention, as it brought to light some sort of truth. Consequently, individuals have the ability to take the initiative and simply say, oh no, we trust our royals. Regarding this particular matter, we believe that Harry and Meghan are lying. To put it another way, it was a positive experience. However, at the same time, the monarchy is still in this position where it is as if these individuals are always attempting to ruin you. In spite of this, you continue to do no action whatsoever to alleviate the situation. On top of that, given the fact that they have certain titles, Harry and Meghan are continuously acting as representatives of the monarchy. Is that true? They are continuously going out there in front of our soldiers, the dignitaries of the United States military, and diplomats, claiming that we are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of the United Kingdom. To put it simply, that is what they are conveying to most people. Furthermore, they make liberal use of these titles and do so without any remorse whatsoever. The fact that you guys need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet is one of the many reasons why it is so completely awful. You have made the decision to quit the monarchy, and they have also shown you the door. Because of this, you will have to figure it out on your own, but Harry and Meghan are not interested in doing that. Again, I want to give Charles credit for his desire to become a father in this situation. Nevertheless, you should be aware that becoming a father is not only about love. Additionally, it is about harsh love. In addition, I believe that Harry and Meghan require some difficult love in this situation, which would necessitate the removal of the titles. Moreover, I am aware that this would result in Meghan being the princess of Harry. Even so, from my perspective, it is something that must be carried out. The fact that Charles is the head of state is the reason why it has been going on for a long enough time at this point. He is not merely a king, and the title he holds is not merely a symbolic one. As the leader of the United Kingdom, he is the head of state. He also has his son and his wife, who are continually attempting to undermine the authority, prestige, and regalness of the monarchy through the use of a reality television program that is a complete and utter waste of time. The situation is exactly like that. It is going to get even more dire the longer Charles continues to allow this to continue. In the event that the monarchy did not punish Harry and Meghan for their actions, they would engage in another activity. This is due to the fact that Meghan Markle will never be content unless she is able to outdo the future Queen of England in some way. Moreover, that is obviously Catherine, which she is unable to do because she is the spouse of the spare. Again, Meghan Markle appears to be completely clueless about the concept of monarchy. Despite the fact that she is a lady in her 40s, she appears to have a strong lack of knowledge regarding this subject. It is therefore impossible for the monarchy to simply sit here and allow people to act in any manner they choose, because things have only gotten worse. They need to reply in a manner that is firm and authoritative. The fact that it was actually published was, without a doubt, a coincidence nonetheless. Omid Scobie was not informed of the fact that it was something that happened by chance. The majority of the time, I would say that Meghan Markle was the one who carried out that very deliberate action. The impression that you get from Omid Scobie's comments is that he was quite irritated by the fact that Harry and Meghan did not address the topic of race on the reality television show. He was quite annoyed by the fact that the names were never made public, and that nobody conducted an investigation that met his expectations. The fact of the matter is that he was adamant on releasing their identities in the book, but his attorneys advised him against doing so, stating that it was probably not the greatest idea. Why didn't you just take a step back and draw that back a little bit? Again, there was some sort of heavenly intervention. In reality, we were able to obtain a portion of the original text that was located in the Netherlands, and despite the fact that this did not go Harry and Meghan's way, the release of these names, they are still not going to be satisfied, especially Meghan, unless she is able to fully take her retribution on the monarchy. That is why this will not end. Despite their titles, they will continue to abuse them. As a result of his lack of talent and the fact that he is bored, Harry is going to continue to try to integrate himself into the United States military. Considering that Harry and Meghan have made the decision to pursue a profession, he is at a loss for what to do. They were at a loss for what to go to. In addition, it has developed into a catastrophic catastrophe, and the worst things happen to them in terms of their Hollywood experience and their experience in large tech. Because, as you probably already know, lecturing corporations is a sign that you are genuinely working in big tech and not in the entertainment industry. The more desperate and frantic Harry and Meghan are going to become for attention, the more they are going to do the worst things possible, in an attempt to undermine the authority and prestige of the monarchy. It is imperative that the monarchy declare that enough is enough. You must come to a halt. And once more, a fantastic method for accomplishing it. The couple should be removed from the website. Modification of the letters of patent should be made to remove the children's titles. And presumably, Harry and Meghan should also have their titles removed. As of right now, Richard Palmer has stated that it is highly unlikely that this will take place. On Twitter, he stated that he is a reporter for the Daily Express who covers royal affairs. Furthermore, he stated that regardless of how many times it is written or how many times a backbench member of parliament demands for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their titles, it will never happen until the King and the government of the United Kingdom adopt new laws permitting it. For the time being, neither Charles nor Rishi Sunak are in favor of it, and to a certain extent, I can see why that is the case. Certainly, there are probably more important fish to fry. That makes sense to me. Moreover, there is this concept. It would appear that we have seen in stories that Charles does not wish to bring Harry into disgrace. You may say that he doesn't mind humiliating you, but it's funny. Without fail, he has been doing it. In addition, the government of the United Kingdom, which is, once again, the head of state of their country, is being undermined by a fool in the state of Massachusetts. In that case, what are you guys going to do? There is no way that you can just keep harping on about this and think that Harry and Meghan will finally get better. It was inevitable that she would be a pain in the butt and a D-list actress, since she was always yearning for fame and wealth. She was always going to be attention-seeking. When it comes to Meghan Markle, that is the unquestionable truth. On the other hand, there is simply no way that you can get around this. It is for this reason that you should actually consider taking decisive action. This can be allowed to take a back seat. A total of 4 years have passed since the announcement was made, and since then, it has gone from one catastrophe to another, with each claim being more destructive than the last. You people don't accomplish anything, do you? Moreover, what happens if you continue to do nothing for an extended period of time? Not a single improvement has been made. It has just gotten worse, and it is not going to change because of Harry and Meghan, particularly Meghan Markle, because, once more, even if Harry is involved in this, Meghan is the one who is really the one driving the bus. In their relationship, she has always been the one who has been in charge of making decisions. She is unable to quit, which is why she is not going to stop anytime soon. She is a drama queen. She adores all of these items. In addition to that, it is clear that she is thirsty for headlines. Therefore, this will never come to an end. I am a member of Parliament named Bob Seeley, and I am an acquaintance of yours, Charles. I believe that he is from the Isle of Skye, which is located in Scotland. So obviously, a smaller constituency. But you need to give a lot of serious consideration to who the head of state of your country is. This is especially true when considering the fact that it is not like a president that we can vote out of if we don't like them or their family or something like that. When it comes to this particular scenario, with regard to having a problematic son who has a poor reputation in the public eye, you could say that there are some similarities between the Bidens and Charles. However, things are different in a monarchy, where Charles will continue to rule until the day he passes away. In addition, William will eventually ascend to the throne, and he will continue to be Harry's brother. What is your strategy for dealing with all of this? In addition, I believe that the solution is to make the distinction more obvious. That is a clear indication that you should try to make them feel a little bit ashamed. They need to be extremely humbled, because if you do that, you could get a better reaction, or you might get a worse reaction, but at least you took a position and did something about it. I believe the threat that the monarchy is facing at the moment is that it appears to be doing nothing, but in reality, it is doing nothing but allowing Harry and Meghan to run amok over everything. The fact that Charles is unable to address his son and that he is unable to take any action regarding his son suggests that he is becoming increasingly feeble. At this point, he is simply allowing his son to act in any manner he pleases. Indeed, I believe that this is a very poor way to interact with the general population at this point. In addition to this, you need also consider the people that Harry and Meghan are associated with. The reason for this is that Omid Scobie, the author of the book, has a reputation that I am not familiar with. As a journalist, I find it hard to believe that some people look at it and think, oh my goodness, the truth and lies. Omid Scobie, he can figure that out for us. He lied in front of the entire nation as population. In several interviews, he has been dishonest. This individual is a liar. And in addition to that, he lied to us about the manner in which this book was distributed because he informed us, I believe in a particular interview, and I will retrieve the footage if I am able to. He stated, well, never in my life did I ever write down their names. Those names were revealed at a time when you had no intention of it happening. It was the first time that I had ever sent in a book that had their names. As a result, I can only discuss my interpretation. As a result of the Dutch publisher coming forward and stating, well, we only translated what we were given. We are aware that this interpretation is not accurate. We were also provided with this document, which was an older version of the draft. We did not receive the second draft that his agency had written. As a result, we translated what we owned. The fact that his agent would do something like that is absurd. I believe that his agent and Omid Scobie should completely compensate the Dutch publisher for reprinting the book 1000%. 1000%. Their compensation should be complete and total. Due to the fact that this was a mistake made by Omid Scobie and his agent, they should be the ones to bear the cost of it, rather than the Dutch publisher. 110% for him to simply state that it was a translation error, and then throw the translators under the bus. I mean, strictly speaking, you might say that it was, but the translation error was not that they added something, which is what he insinuated. It is because they were given the incorrect draft. They were given the incorrect draft, because he attempted to disassociate himself from the fact that he had ever written the names down in the book, which is something that we are aware of being a blatant falsehood. This individual is a liar. This reputation has now been transferred to Harry and Meghan as well. They surround themselves with a liar, and they surround themselves with someone who is actively working to damage Harry's family. Both of these associations are on purpose. It is my opinion that Omid Scobie has a deep-seated hatred for the monarchy. This is not just due to the fact that he does not have a favorable opinion of the royal family, rather, it is because they did not follow his recommendations regarding how to make them more contemporary and efficient. As a result of the fact that they glanced at this individual going, it is clear that this guy is not knowledgeable about the subject at hand. In addition, we do not intend to follow his recommendation in any way, therefore, they did not have to do it. However, Omid Scobie is carrying a chip on his shoulder as a result of that one thing, and he intends to exact revenge on the monarchy for the fact that they did not include him in the royal rota. That is exactly what this is all about, isn't it? It is most likely due to the fact that he does not have a position on the royal rota. As a result, he authored this book, and I was aware that I would be destroying relationships on my way out. On the other hand, I don't believe he was aware that he would damage as many relationships as he did, for the simple reason that Harry and Meghan don't come out looking very good at all. Both of them are a part of their affiliation with Omid Scobie, since there is no possibility that anyone in the palace would disclose such knowledge to Omid. I have a feeling that somebody from the Byline Times or whatever else indicated that they were aware of the names, but I do not have faith in that magazine because it has already published a very non-story narrative about the royals, stating that Harry and Meghan were so wonderful, and that the royals were so terrible for not accepting them. Thus, I do not subscribe to the Byline Times in any way. However, who was it that initially bestowed upon them the names? On the other hand, I must mention that I did not hear any journalists claiming that they were unaware of the names, which is something that is quite interesting to know. However, I find it somewhat absurd to believe that Omid could have obtained these names from any other person while Harry and Meghan were in charge of the wedding. In addition, I do not believe that this information would have been disseminated beyond a significant and insignificant section of the royal staff. Furthermore, I am not sure if we would be aware of the fact that somebody was fired for maybe spelling the name incorrectly to at least one journalist. Nevertheless, this would have been a letter and information that was only visible to those who were at the very top of the hierarchy, the individuals who had the highest level of confidence inside the monarchy. Therefore, the person who would be the most obvious to be a leaker would be someone from the Sussex camp. As far as the other journalists are concerned, everything that originates from the Sussex camps makes an immensely greater amount of sense than the monarchy. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos.